Howdy folks, today's soap is brought to us by Black Ship Grooming. This one here is Aladdin Spice. Um, you might, so his previous containers were a bit taller. This one here is a little shorter. Anyway, that's what it looks like there on the inside. Some of the scent that you might pick up would be, of course, spices and myrrh and musk and, oh yes, cloves. That was some of the since I remember reading. It's also, it says right there, 4 ounces if you're kind of wondering. But got the matching aftershave here. And this one here's the older label because before it was Black Ship Grooving, it was Beaver Woodwright. And I got this container here. Got it on clearance, as you can probably imagine. But really nice scent, especially for my nose. I have it whipped up here in a fine accoutrements lathering bowl with a owner's Semogue brush, and it's not drippy, but it is somewhat wet. It'll probably thicken up a little bit, so I may add a little bit more water to it. Got this brush, by the way, of Stephen Sprague. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to add some more water to it now. It lathered up really easy. I've been using this bowl the past few shaves, and I would have to say that this design, as it goes for a lathering bowl, works out really well. I don't have nowhere near the issue of, in other words, lather end up going everywhere. It pretty much stays in the bowl. Now, as it goes for the grooves, does it particularly help with the lathering or not? I think that's kind of open. If it was smooth, I'd still be able to work with it. I think the overall design of the way it's made, how wide it is, makes a world of difference. It's a pretty good bowl. I had got it at Groomatorium when it was on sale for 20 bucks, so I don't think it's on, take that back. I think they're sold out is what it is, yes. Blade of choice, it was mentioned a few videos back about using Big Ben. Now in the package here it mentions super stainless and cool wrapper also. But when I look it up at Razor Blades Club, if you look there, it refers to it as a chrome blade. So once again, in other words, using websites for information, because a number of blades mention like super stainless, and but then they may have a coating on there that is not really mentioned on the package itself. Just one of those things I thought I'd throw out there. And I'm using it in this is a Focus Tritok, I think is how you pronounce it. This one here is concave, so this is the R52. R51 is the milder version that's flat, and then the 53 will be I was going to say twisted. It's a slant. That will be in the next shave. For me, these razors are very interesting. It is concave, even though it looks to be very flat. I don't know if this camera is going to pick it up or not. If I can get the right angle, you might see it's just a little bit, not a whole lot. And of course, the flat is flat, and this is not. This concave is just a tad bit. And then the slant is almost the same way. The slant is just a little bit. You can just tell that it is at a slant, but believe it or not, it makes a difference in the shave. Already put a hot towel to the face this morning and get started with the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. This is the Christmas cube here. Wanted to revisit this one, actually this one as well as the slant, because these razors for me are it's a bit of a learning curve. I find myself, oddly enough, finding the angle that it works best, even though it's already preset. I find myself wanting to use a different angle, muscle memory from other shavers, and this one here's already got it preset, and maintaining that angle for me, I was, I guess you might say I was kind of struggling with it. So I wanted to go back and revisit this one here as well as the slant. And don't know if you noticed on the handle there, it mentions that it's made in Italy. Now, I got a link down below if you want to check it out, where I got my shaver from is Superior Shave, and it does come in different colors. And this one here, with the handles the way they're made, so if you don't, in other words, if you're buying more than one of them, and you find one that has a color handle that you like, but then the next one you want to buy, maybe it's not available in that color because it's sold out or whatever the case might be, the handles are interchangeable. So that might help you out if you're looking to buy these razors. Like I say, they are, to me, is a little bit of a learning curve, which is kind of odd for me. Because usually with the DE, it doesn't take very long for me to catch on where the proper angle's at and being able to maintain it. This one here is a little bit more of a challenge, because I notice when I get off of the, I can say the preferred angle, the shave is different. The mild one is probably the one that you may notice the most because it is mild, and your shave will be, how can you say, not a very efficient shave. There we go. So in other words, it does kind of sort of matter. It is lightweight. 39.5 grams, 1.4 ounces, something like that. I wouldn't, I don't know in this particular shaver if weight makes a difference. In other words, a heavier razor would make a difference in the shave. I don't know that it would. I get the impression with this one here, it's all about maintaining the angle. And of course the pressure, but I don't know that weight would make that much of a difference, because with that angle preset right there for you, and as flat as this whole setup is, it's a little different. At least for me it is. Somebody else may have a better experience or better luck with it, I should say. I don't really find that it clogs up, because it may be kind of hard to see. The blade exposure is not a whole lot out there. I don't find that this blade is the smoothest. And it may be more to do with what razor you're using it with. I can say that oddly enough, in my opinion, my experience has been that the concave is more aggressive than the slant. This one feels a bit more aggressive. You do have, like I say, you have to kind of focus. Pay attention to the angle in order to get that shave where see right there, it seems to be pretty easy. Some strokes are easier to maintain the angle than others. So I think the way I would phrase it, there's a little bit of a learning curve. You're probably going to want to get a few shaves under your belt before you decide that it's not for you, for instance, because it is a little bit different. I guess you might say for some folks this might be a refreshing shaver in that it's 100% made in Italy. Sometimes it's not always the easiest to find, especially if you're Italian, find stuff that's 100% Italian or American or whatever the case might be. I have to say though, it's pretty efficient. This is, of the three, this was the one that I liked the most. The mild one, which is referred to as flat, the R51, it was just a bit too mild for me. It was easy to shave with though. I mean, as it goes, once you figure out the angle, it was very smooth, comfortable. It just, for me, I needed something with a little bit more efficiency, I guess you might say. I didn't think it was that efficient. Definitely not as efficient as the concave. But for somebody that's starting out, in other words, folks, especially younger ones that, their skin's not used to having a blade against it, you're going to need some of those kind of style shavers out there for them to use. And that's the reason why I kind of mentioned it. Or as time goes on, if you're getting older and maybe your face, your skin is changing as well as your whiskers, maybe that sort of shaver is a good shaver for you. I know my whiskers are pretty tough. It's the reason why some blades work better than others. You know, they do mention about piano wire. I think mine's pretty darn close to it. I have seen, I guess you might say under a loop, jeweler's loop, I have seen what my whiskers do to a blade. And that's the reason why some blades will last longer than others. And when it comes to DE blades, I got so many of them, I don't try to push how many shaves I get out of them. Some of the more expensive ones, I might go 2 or 3 shaves on a blade. Otherwise, it's 1 or 2 and then they're done, depending on how many shaves I'm doing with the same razor. I don't leave the blades in the razor. It's not a very good thing to do. In other words, I've seen what rust does to the shaver. There is just a little bit of feedback with this and with the across the grain. Like I said, once you shave with it a few times, I think you'll kind of get used to the angle. I may have to pause this in a moment, see if the dogs will calm down. They might do it on their own. I do enjoy using this shaver though, in that it is such a unique challenge to get used to. I do like the challenge, in other words. See if I can figure out how to use one. Which is interesting considering it's a DE. You wouldn't think it'd be that hard to maintain your angle. But every once in a while, different parts of my face, I've noticed that I still not quite maintaining the angle just right. This scent does work well with my nose. And I think it has the myrrh, the clove, that sort of line of scents work well. I can pick it up with my nose, in other words. There's other stuff mixed in it, but in my nose I can't tell what it is. Alright, getting ready for the third pass against the grain. With this soap whipped up like it is, it's fairly thick, slick I should say, not thick but slick. I don't usually whip mine up too terribly thick. And my piece feels really soft. Now I guess you might say those moisturizing properties of the soap. See if we get a little bit of feedback, usually right through my, yeah, right there. That's where the whiskers grow every which direction. Get some feedback through there. Not always, but sometimes with aluminum razors you'll get some feedback. You can kind of tell there's plenty of slickness there. It's a good soap. At least for me it is. I have to say though, this blade does have me wanting to use a different blade with my whiskers. It's hit miss. I've read some reviews on it. You know, some people really enjoy them, some people not so much. And for me, these blades aren't all that smooth with my kind of whiskers. And of course, I'm using it in a, well, of those 3 razors, this is the more aggressive one. So in other words, if I was using it in the 51, it could be a different kind of shave. But I don't have that one. I didn't buy that one. I say it was too mild. It wasn't quite efficient enough for me. I don't mind mild shavers if they're efficient. Get me where I need to go. That one there, not so much for me. But this one here, yeah. Very smooth without even, in other words, putting out a whole lot of effort. My face is very smooth. There's not hardly anything left in the way of whiskers. Very smooth. This soap, I can still smell it, which is, in other words, not always the case. And then it has a lot to do with how well my nose is working. But boy, It smells really nice. I do like soaps that are, I guess you might say, on the spicy side. Maybe a little dark or heavy. Like a bay rum. Not all bay rums are heavy, but I do like that clove and that I guess you might say heavy scent. Phoenix Artisan accoutrements. This one here, like I say, got the rubber band. I prefer the rubber band, and I prefer it this way as opposed to the other direction. Got just a little bit of stinging right there. I was kind of working at it. And a little bit right there, which is, for whatever reason, right there I get stinging there more often than not. Not sure what's going on right there. I think I still got some soap back there. If you're not familiar with Jill, she's no longer with us, but Jill should catch you in your video. Make a comment if you got soap back here. She'd see it. Yeah, she'd let you know about it. She's a great gal. Humphrey's Witch Hazel. This one here is cucumber, melon, and I've got peppermint added to it. That's the reason why it looks the way it does. Kind of a milky color to it. Got just enough peppermint for a nice cooling effect. A little bit more than what this was before I added the peppermint, in other words. The cooling effect before, it was there, but it was very light. It was, how you say, I needed a boost. Man, this feels good. Can feel it working on my face. The restrictor, that's what the inside of the cap looks like. And the restrictor, there it is. It's got a plastic restrictor, so another huge opening, if that's one of your things about aftershaves. And also, this is a glass container. A frosted one, I should say at that. Smells great. Just, oh, awesome. This is one of my favorite scents from Black Ship Grooming. Captain's Pipe is another one that's pretty nice too. Had a great shave today. Hope everybody's doing well. Have a fun day on Easter Sunday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and smooth shaves to you.